Welcome back and good morning once again. I'm starting with the Ghanaian Times this morning. You must have seen the trending video of Honorable Sam George and Larry on CNN over the weekend. I mean, he's been trending, and this also means that the anti-gay bill, the conversation around that has been trending so much. And so the Ghanaian Times is actually reporting public debate heats up as nation awaits Parliament to ponder bill. It's on page 17 of the Ghanaian Times this morning as well. And if you continue to page 18, Savannah Regional House of Chiefs banned commercial charcoal burning, fuel wood and rosewood harvesting is on page 18 of the Ghanaian Times. And oh, alas, the Guan District Assembly has been inaugurated is also on page 17 of the Ghanaian Times this morning. The center spread gives you an overview and in every details that I've told you this morning in front of the Ghanaian Times this morning. Benjamin, ready?
Okay, so let's get into the daily graphic. Afarijan, Doma Hene kick against LGBTQI. It's getting interesting. There are about 104 memoranda that have been, sent to Parliament, and now I guess it's getting really booga booga. It's like tit for tat. You pull, I push. It's getting interesting. I mean, the ferocity with which groups are approaching the matter. You spoke about Sam George. Well, guess what? Two more prominent Ghanaians have joined the debate in the persons of Osajefo Osiadeyo Ajimambedu Domahene and former EC Chair Dr. Kwejo Afarijan. So interesting times, really. There's a special supplement on the UPSA inside. You can check it out. But NSS to deepen collaboration with institutions. I'm talking about the National Service Scheme. 2 bodies retrieved from Ofin River. That's a sad development. Let me check out the international page. Gunmen raid Nigeria market, kill 20 in Sokoto state. And this is a really troubling development. There's also Sankara trial will shed light on his murder. How many decades ago? Interesting. Thousands protest against Tunisian leader. And that's interesting, especially if you have Arab Spring on your mind. Let's go to the sporting pages, the back page of the paper. Gutsy Black Stars silence Zimbabwe to revive hope. The Zimbabweans accused us, their coach, of being unfair to them in terms of the pitch. He said, well, that people said was exaggerated, that we gave them a pitch with knee-high grass. Knee-high to train in today in Zimbabwe. But Mohamed Kudus, Thomas Partey and Andrea Yu on target. 3-1, it ended. But it was saying between South Africa and Ethiopia, so it means we still have our work cut out for us. We can't afford any slips right now. Done with the daily graphic. Okay,
I will continue with the daily guide this month. Did you know that today is International Day for the Girl Child?
Yes,
Yay. But today we take our time to amplify the voices of the girl child. I mean, we used to want to give the voice to them. We like to think that now we have the voice, and yet we just want to amplify it. But that notwithstanding, in front of the daily guide this morning, it's not so good news as NDC guru impregnates daughter and causes abortion. His name is Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood. And so let me find out where. So it's on page 3, actually. So it says that the opposition National Democratic Congress Central Regional Communications Director Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood is in hot waters for allegedly having sex with his own underage daughter. Dawood has allegedly been having sex or sexual intercourse with his biological daughter since 2019, when the victim was 15 years. And I think one of the days that the shit hit the fan and the girl got pregnant, and then he's asked his friend to actually administer an injection that can terminate the pregnancy. So he's actually in hot waters. That's not a good one.
It's not a good one, but I'm hoping it turns out not to be true, because per the paper itself, and that's one problem sometimes I have with the Daily Guide newspaper, how they couch certain things.
Yes.
And of course, we know about how political it gets. It's an allegation. Of all the things you've said in there, it still remains alleged.
An allegation.
So these are the problems. Later you find out, if it turns out not to be true, Charlie, reputation gone.
That's true. But anyway, still on the matter of girl child being defiled and all of that. So a police or a corp has defiled another girl, and this at a police station, and this girl is just a class 5 pupil. I hope that it is not true again. But then again, today we're telling every young girl out there that do not suffer in silence. Whoever is doing something to you that you know that is not right, please speak up, okay? Speak up. And if you go to the center spread of the Daily Guide this morning as well, you'll find Stoneboy, Dino Hamilton, and other winning the GMA UK Awards, and some persons who have also been nominated for this year's RTP Awards. Details is in the middle page of the Daily Guide this morning. Benjamin, back to you.
Well, RTP, I have a history.
Do you?
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, tell me.
Oh, it's another thing. It's another thing.
Okay.
Twice. Anyway, the final newspaper this morning says Ecobank Ghana is overall best bank in CIMG Customer Satisfaction Index Report 2021. That story is on page 9 of the paper. There's also MPP will win 170 parliamentary seats in election 2024. Guess who's saying that? John Bwedu, General Secretary of the party. Now, don't be appendage of party and government. President Akufo-Addo tells new IGP and the police service. You know, Dr. Dampare was sworn in just last week. I believe it was Friday. And now he's no longer acting. After 2 months, he is substantive. But what happens from here? Are we going to see even more from Dr. Dampare, whom I feel has done amazingly thus far? 21st Clinic CEO wins Health and Wellness Award at 40 Under 40 Achievers Awards, and UK adds Ghana to list of countries with approved proof of vaccination. You know, our president was out there talking about, you give us AstraZeneca and then you turn around and say, the destiny is not destined. So when we are coming to your destiny, you will destine us.
They finally approved it, yeah.
But I'll wrap with this story on page 11. Fire guts Nyenehin Catholic SHS Boys Dormitory. Interesting for me because it has been gutted by fire, destroying items running into thousands of CDs. Yes. Deputy Superintendent of Police James Ameka, the Nyenehin District Police Commander, briefing the Ghana News Agency, yes, said the fire started at about 8 p.m. And by the time firefighters arrived, half of the building had already been destroyed by the fire. And they've launched an investigation. But so many fires and even accusations of students, in some cases, you know, being behind the developments. Arson. What is happening? Anyway, it's a wrap for the Finder newspaper. Okay,
now the Chronicle has got about 18 academicians and also lawyers that some Jata George has been tutoring on the bill. He says that they do not understand the bill.
Did you follow News File on Saturday?
Not.
Because that is where there was a lot of, from Professor, what's his name?
He actually started here. He started telling them that it looks like they don't understand.
He started telling me that, and then he took it there, Professor Tua of the University of Ghana Faculty of Law, among others, and he kept pointing to the fact that this thing you're saying just evinces that you have not read or properly understood this point. But some on a more serious note.
Well, he's really the man of the moment, trust me. He's really on top of issues. This is not to say that I'm supporting anything, but I like his person. I like the way he's able to let people understand.
I think if you want to enter this conversation, and that's why the CNN presenter looked so bad, if you want to enter a conversation like this, you better be armed with the facts. It's not about shouting over the other person. You need to have the facts, the law, whatever, at hand, very ready. And if you don't, you look bad.
Okay, so it will be a good time to give you the scripture reading for today. Psalm 44 verse 15. All day long my dishonor is before me and my humiliation has overwhelmed me. You know what? I see the Chronicle speaking to these 18 people who are against these lawyers and academicians who are against the bill. It just goes straight to them. But anyway, don't mind them. Go ahead and pass the bill. Osadieyo Ajaman Bedu. The second fumes. I think it's still on the LGBT. It looks like traditional heads and religious heads are really not.
It started, you know, with the National House of Chiefs, who back then came and spoke about the fact that this thing is taboo, it is inhuman. But then others quickly started saying that no. And I also want to say something. The 18 on that list, all those professors and academics who say, well, we feel that we may not necessarily support, that's something to take stock of. We may not necessarily support the act, but the people should be protected. I feel they too are entitled to their opinion, just as maybe it means they would likely be in the 7% who are, and the 93% also have their opinion. I think we should balance it out.
I don't see how these people are not protected, unless, of course, you have to alter the Constitution. Because second-degree felony has got its consequences.
So here's the problem. Even when you read the LGBTQI bill, it talks about the fact that these people ought to be protected from rampaging, anybody who might think that, oh, because you are this. You saw is it Nkoranza issue where a gentleman, was, dragged to the chief's palace, libation was offered on his head and all of that. Those kinds of things are a bit tricky. People taking the law into their own hands, saying that you suspect you are practicing it or you are practicing it. That is the problem. I
think that's where the conversation should go. We shouldn't single out one act. Because as Ghanaians, we often see people taking the law in their hands. If you catch an armed robber today, if you don't take time and you don't get the police, you see the injustice. We tend to take the law in our own hands. So it shouldn't look as though we've only singled out people who are in the LGBT community and we're targeting them. That's where my concern is. It has to be that if you're educating Ghanaians or if you're teaching people not to, infringe on people's rights, it has to cut across.
It has to cut across.
It has to.
Right.
Anyway, that's it for the Chronicle, Benjamin. I've also got the new crusading guide here. Photos of the new IGP was trending and all of that. And this is what the president has been saying. The president says that he needs to establish a trustworthy police service, and is on page 3 and 10 of the new crusading guide. I'll say that's the biggest one in front of the new crusading guide this morning. Benjamin got in.
I think, well, I'm done with my papers. I think Dr. Dampare is on the path of doing exactly that, creating a trustworthy Ghana police service. They are not a force, they are a service, and they should actually serve the people. But I'm going to be a bit, play the devil for a bit. Are we going to do the right things to ensure that he can actually do the things that we're calling on him to do? I'm talking about the politics in this country. The Ghana Police Service is part of the executive arm of government. And we know of all sometimes the bits and pieces here, some things that, I'm sorry, do not necessarily make sense, but you would realize that a particular party, whether NDC or MPP, is in power. And so sometimes things that shouldn't happen do happen. People who shouldn't get arrested. People who should be dealt with in certain ways, they are sacred cows because, well, they are in some way tied to. That is why I feel, for example, in the case of Owusu Bempah, Reverend, sometimes I struggle to call him Reverend, Owusu Bempah.
Why?
And, well, some actions, you see, the Bible says by their fruit you shall know them. And I'm sorry, but if you're a Reverend, and I remember, when was this, 2016, 17, 18, going to a certain station and the assault, and we've seen the most recent one and all of that. I mean, what kind of, I'm sorry, but what kind of, I am unapologetic about this, so I shouldn't even be saying
that may be just his personality, but the title on him may not be affected.
Well, that is why I'm saying that you must reflect it, and if you don't, I also have the choice. There are some MPs I don't feel like calling honorable. And I don't call them honorable because I believe they are dishonorable in their actions. They don't deserve the title. So that is my point there. When we get to the point where we don't care whose ox is God, and we allow the IGP to do that, that is when maybe we can be saying that we have the will to actually allow him to do his work.
I think that even, so he's been acting for 2 months?
Yes. 2 months.
At least for 2 months. Nearly the whole of Ghana is saying that, oh wow.
Count me in.
Well.
Count me in.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying I hope now that he's been confirmed, it doesn't change.
But you see that now that he's been confirmed, if he changes, it'll be very clear that people were just, and it will be their own cup of tea. Because if you want the security of this country and somebody is worthy of doing that, and you're going to, not allow him to do his job, then we all know. Because then now we can't judge the man. We know that he can do the job. Right. Except something is really pulling him by the shirt.
Unseen hands.
Okay. Anyway, we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be saying a lot of thank yous this morning. Let me see if I can say a few thank yous. Let me say thank you to Prophetic Ministry of Jesus Christ, City Trust Travel and Tour, Eradinaya Bakery, Hot Oven, one of my favorite pastries, Eshirof. Hey, Coca-Cola, Bayswater, Arcadia Industries, Women's Aglow International, Autofix Engineering Ghana, Catholic Institute of Business and Technology, Cosmic Delivery Express, Dahlia Beauty and Pharma Limited, Delta Agro Limited, and EcoBank. We've got a tour list. We'd like to say a very big thank you for doing business with us. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. We'll be back with more, Benjamin.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back.
What did you say we're doing on BTH today?
So we're talking about mental health issues with children in mind. And it would amaze you. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. You really don't want to miss the show today. Stay with us.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.